So why should you watch our channel?
Because we're awesome.
We are awesome.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
I eat mop.
I eat mop. Who?
You eat your poo?
What? I don't get it.
It was a joke.
Why are you telling me jokes?
Because that's how we first met.
Oh, you're right. It is.
I posted online on a dating service, Knock Knock.
And then I responded, who's there? And then I didn't even get the joke.
He didn't get it. I told him to go tell it to somebody else. Because unless you say it out loud,
it doesn't really work. So then she told me, well, I'm busy. So I said, okay. But we started talking. We're not really, well, I guess we did start talking. We chatted back and forth.
We sent messages back and forth for a while, and then we talked on the phone.
After about a week, I can't remember exactly, but after a week we had our first date, and it was quite a date. She picked me up at my house, and we went hiking on a small nature trail. We went paddleboarding out in Flathead Lake, and then we went and danced in the rain at another lake. It was a good time. And she brought me pie. So we hit it off right away, and we started spending all of our time together, doing a lot of the same things: hiking,
we went biking,
paddleboarding,
and then we started going on road trips together. We went to Yellowstone and Custer Battlefield.
We drove out to Seattle and spent time for the holidays with her mom.
We went to the suspension bridge.
Yeah, we were definitely traveling quite a bit. We didn't have a car big enough for all of us, so we actually even went out and bought a Suburban big enough to haul us all around, because there was 6 of us, and both of us had cars that held 5. So then one night we were lying in bed, and Harmony said, well, what if we sold everything and lived in an RV? I was a little taken back at first. It was a little bit kind of like, maybe?
And he pretty much said no, that wouldn't work with so many kids.
Is it working?
So far it's working.
So we researched, or I researched. I watched YouTube videos and read blogs and looked at Facebook pages and everything else that's out there, which if you have any idea or research the subject matter, you know that there is a lot of resources out there. And then I was like, sure, we could do that.
So then we put our plan together.
We had a lot to consider, though, for that plan. One of the biggest things is Colin was in foster care, so we had to work through the adoption process.
And it was just a big waiting game. We didn't know how long it was going to take. We knew by that point that we were going to be able to adopt him, but we didn't know when. We just had to kind of wait until they told us.
And then we wanted to have a baby. That's a 9-month process, and we didn't want to hit the road with a brand new baby. So we looked at a calendar and figured out that we wanted to leave in the fall after spending the summer in Montana, leave before it gets cold. So it ended up being a 19-month plan that we put together to depart. And we literally, when we made that plan, we said, okay, the day after Labor Day 2016, we are going to go.
And we were right on schedule.
So there's a lot of research that goes into full timing. You didn't, not just, seeing other people do it and learn how to get ready, but we had to figure out what we wanted to travel in. So we looked at primarily travel trailers at first, because we decided since there would be 7 of us, we needed 7 seats. So we went with a big Ford Excursion SUV as the tow vehicle, and so we were kind of limited to a travel trailer. So we drove around, we took some road trips around Montana and looked at a couple different models.
And we settled on a bunk model. Actually, with all the traveling we did, we took a few trips all around.
To look at RVs.
Yeah, like we went from Kalispell to Billings, which is an 8 or 9 hour drive, to look at some. But we ended up settling on one that we found right in our town. That was a bunk model, so all 4 of the kids would have their own bed, and then the baby would be with us.
And that was one of my I won't say most important, but it was highest on the list, was that everybody had a bed. We didn't want to have to be putting down tables and break the trailer down for everybody to go to sleep. We wanted space for everybody to go to, and when it's bedtime, they just go to their space.
And then they'd have a space to keep their own stuff. And if they just want to get away, they have their own area.
And then the excursion we bought sight unseen. I had worked for a machine shop that specializes in making parts for diesel trucks, so we decided to go with the Ford Excursion, which was the biggest, baddest SUV, and we put a Cummins diesel engine in it that is the best diesel engine out there, so that took some time planning.
So he says we put it in, and he asked, when I put the new engine in, will you help? And I said, yeah, certainly, I would love to help. And then I had morning sickness so bad that there's no way I wanted to be out there in the garage smelling that grease and oil, so he did it all himself.
Yeah, and we did she did a lot of renovating to the trailer. We made new curtains, we reinforced some things, we made it more ours. I added an additional battery, some extra storage. It was quite an undertaking. If you click on the link below, I'll include a link to our website where you can see some of the stuff we did to that trailer. So the next question is, where would we park it? I mean, I'm all for camping, but when you're driving down the road, it's not like you just can pull in anywhere, with everything you own and your whole family. So, I was familiar with Coast to Coast growing up. My dad had a membership, so we would go camping at their campgrounds. So we looked into some of those type of memberships.
And I used to have Thousand Trails, so we looked into that also. And we looked at all the different options of all the different memberships and which ones are the places that we'd like to be, and the cost involved in all of them. And so Doug started researching and looking for used memberships online.
And we ended up with a Thousand Trails membership. So I found an old Thousand Trails membership. It was from the early 90s that an elderly retired gal had, and I got it for a fraction of the cost of what it would be for a new membership. Now it's a VIP membership. It has a lot of great perks. Because it's so old, there are some things missing from our contract, but for what we spent, we got a great value with that membership. We have some other things that came with it as well, other campground memberships, things like that. I won't get into great detail here though.
So then, once we had the excursion and we had the trailer, we had to start getting rid of our stuff. So we started working on our house.
The purge is real. It's about 6:40 a.m. on Saturday, August 20, I don't even know what date it is, 26th, 27th, something like that. Needless to say, the purge is still real.
We started with
stuff.
I guess we started getting rid of some bigger stuff, and then we were fixing up the house, and then we moved the rest of the stuff over to the daycare that I had, and eventually we put the house on the market and started staying at the daycare, and then the daycare flooded one night and all the beds flooded, and so we ended up moving out of the daycare and into the trailer out in the driveway of the daycare. So we moved into the trailer sooner than we had expected.
And that was about June that we moved into the trailer.
We put the house on the market.
Actually I think it might have been April 27th, 28th, or May 3rd. I'm not really super sure.
And it was on the market a long time.
It went on at 2:30 p.m. and at 6:30 p.m. the same day we had a signed contract.
So we were very happy about that, because that would have been the one thing holding up our plan, is if the house didn't sell.
That was my biggest concern, to be honest, was if and when the house would sell. I figured it would, but I didn't want to be launched still under contract or having it on the market. For one, you have to keep making those mortgage payments. Two, it's just more to deal with on the side of the road. So the house sold pretty quickly, and that was a big relief. And then we were having estate sales every weekend for the whole summer.
The entire summer, almost every weekend. We only took a couple weekends off from having sales, and we worked on, and at the same time we were trying to sell all the stuff at the daycare, but the daycare was still open. We had given notice to the parents, and we weren't taking new kids, and so we just had the same couple families still there, but we had to keep enough stuff there to keep on taking care of the kids.
Tell you what, selling stuff is exhausting. We were both very active on Facebook, the various Facebook pages selling things. I used a lot of Craigslist. So one of us or both of us always had to meet someone coming over. We had stuff staged in the garage, and we'd tell each other, okay, so-and-so's coming over for this, or...
I had sticky notes. I put little sticky notes with people's names and prices on stuff, so I just had piles of stuff for them to come pick up.
And it was a lot of work, but I'm glad we went that route. Some people will just call in an estate company that will come in and take all your stuff and sell it, and then take a huge cut. At least we were able to get, I won't say great value, but we were able to dictate the value we were getting, not just based on some other third party taking care of our stuff. Let's see. So we had yard sales. We even had frequent flyers at our yard sales because we had so much stuff, and we were putting out new stuff every week.
Every weekend, new stuff would be out, so we'd have a bunch of the same people coming by every weekend to see the new stuff.
It's funny because that's when our YouTube life really kind of started. I mean, we had put up some videos, but me and the boys were making commercials and putting stuff out there
to sell our
stuff.
Huge sale! Everything's gotta go! We have bikes, and we have trikes, we have sleds, and we have beds. We even have a giant pumpkin! There's skis, snowboards, dishes, chairs, and bears! We have hats, we have bats, we have toys galore! Wow. We have the best variety in town! So come on down to 807 West Wyoming Street, north from the fairgrounds.
And it was fun. I enjoyed that time, and it actually was a kind of a prequel to what is now our YouTube channel.
And a bunch of people came by because of the commercials. So
yeah.
So once most of our stuff was gone, we had to really be thinking about what life is going to be like on the road and planning for something. So one thing that we had to think about was our mail. That's always a big question with people when they hit the road full time.
Mm-hmm. So we found a service there in Kalispell where we lived that actually provided mail service for RVers. The mail gets sent to there. They scan it, and then they email us letting know that we have mail, and we can look at it directly on the website. And then if we need it, we can have them send it to us wherever we are, or they'll shred it.
And then banking, we already used Wells Fargo Bank, which is in most of the country, but we also decided to go with Capital One online banking, just so that wherever we are, we have access to our money when we need it.
And online statements, we went paperless on everything we could. We had insurance through Progressive, and they do have full-timer insurance, so we just added that, which is more like renter's insurance, so it covers the RV and then a certain dollar amount of personal belongings, and then roadside assistance as well. We already had health insurance taken care of, so we didn't have to really mess with that.
So then the last concern was our family and our friends. Most of them weren't very happy about us hitting the road because they're not going to see us and they're not going to be around us.
Or they were super excited because they wanted to be going too.
they wished they could go too, yeah. But they didn't like the idea of us leaving. And so that's why we came up with a Facebook page for our travels and YouTube videos.
And a blog that we suck at.
We suck at. We're not good bloggers.
But there's still a lot of great pictures and stories on that page.
Yeah, so we did all that so that friends and family could check out the link. And so we just wanted our friends and family to keep posted on what we're up to, so that's why we decided to do all that.
Because if it's not on Facebook, it's not real.
Yeah, we almost just left and disappeared and became unreal. We had to keep it real. So right towards the very end of purging our stuff and getting ready to go was quite a race. We had a schedule of trying to be on track throughout the whole 19-month plan, but then towards the end we had just closed the daycare on a Friday, and then that following Sunday we had a going away party, so we had a bunch of people over, and then he still worked for another week through the next Friday, and so I had a week to finish selling off stuff, and then he had through the weekend while we finished getting rid of everything and cleaning up the house where daycare was. It was a rented house, so we just had to get it all cleaned up and ready to be out.
Oh, and Friday night, the same night that was my last day at work, Anthony decided to climb a tree for some firewood and fell out and broke his arm.
So instead of cleaning that night, I spent the whole evening at the hospital with him.
Yeah, that was a good time. And then, of course, brought with a whole new list of challenges. They didn't want to put a cast on it for a week, and so we convinced them to, and we ended up getting it removed in Tijuana just because our insurance wasn't going to cover an orthopedic surgeon out of state. So
that was fun.
Yeah.
But we managed to get through that, and we still pulled out on schedule.
We did. So then we pulled out of Montana, and it was a rainy day. It was a horrible day for driving, especially with an RV. Definitely got scared a few times, and I think the whole rig hydroplaned once, and it really gave me a good boost of adrenaline.
He had white knuckles by the time we made it to Washington. I did have white knuckles.
We left Montana, crossed over the northern part of Idaho, and ended up just across the river from Idaho in Washington State, which we weighed the trailer before we left Montana that day. Like, she was cleaning stuff, or actually no, you were at the doctor's office getting the cast put on.
And you went and weighed it?
And I went and weighed it, and we were over, so we had people coming to say goodbye, and we were handing them stuff and
getting rid of all of our food. And
yeah, so that was exciting. And so we guessed. So then we pulled into Washington, and literally we had to reorganize. Like, we spent the next 3 days, because we got there on a Tuesday and we were pulling out on Friday. It was kind of rainy, and the weather wasn't the greatest, so it wasn't a bad thing, but we literally just kind of started reorganizing and situating.
And we had the last of our stuff from the house that we hadn't quite put into the trailer yet, and so yeah, those last few things, it's like, okay, throw that away and just stuff this in the trailer and hit the road.
But then our adventure really took off from there. We drove out to the Seattle area and spent the weekend with her son and mom. I went to a Seahawks game, and then we started making our way south, and that's where the fun really started beginning. So we traveled this way with the travel trailer and the excursion for a few months. It definitely started to feel a little bit cramped. It was, only 28 feet, and there are 7 of us. It did suit our needs, but we definitely were starting to be on top of each other, so we kind of started thinking about upgrade. So we looked at the various different options, and we ended up deciding that a toy hauler would probably be our best bet, just because first they're set up for boondocking and being more self-sufficient. Second, they can handle a lot more weight, and they have really high ceilings, so they make you feel more at home and not quite so confined.
And we wanted a way for Brittany to have her own space,
Yeah.
not being in with the boys.
So this is a good deal because there were a couple things on our list for that. One was it had a loft for Brittany, and then the other was a separate space for the boys, and then we wanted a bathroom that was separate from everything. So it wasn't a big list, but it was a big trailer that we were looking at.
So he started looking online again, and he had looked at several trailers, fifth wheels.
We looked at a lot of different floor plans. We knew we were going to go to probably a fifth wheel. They tow a lot better, and they're better suited for this type of life. So we looked at toy haulers, and we ended up finding this one that was in San Diego. We were actually up in Palm Springs, California. So me and Brittany took a day trip to go down and take a look at it, and we liked it. So we pulled the trigger. We ended up driving back to San Diego, where we had been before, and buying it, moving, and then the company we bought it from had to deliver it to Arizona to avoid any California taxes. So we literally followed the trailer over as someone else towed it to Yuma, Arizona the day before Thanksgiving.
But in the meantime, we had agreed to buy the trailer, and then we needed a truck to pull it. So then he quickly started shopping around for a truck. So then we ran one day, we left all of the kids at my dad's house, and we went over and we bought the truck. Mm-hmm. And then, was it that same day or the next day that we went and picked up the trailer?
No, we got the truck on a Tuesday. We got to San Diego on Monday, dropped the travel trailer off at the dealership, spent the night at Grandpa Ed's. Tuesday morning we drove out. I drove up to Riverside to get the truck, and then Tuesday night.
Well, yeah, then we went and picked up the kids. We got the truck, we came back to Grandpa's house, picked up the kids, and headed over to the trailer.
Yep.
And so both of the new fifth wheel and the travel trailer were there parked side by side.
I'll put a link for the move right here.
And then we spent that evening moving everything over. The fifth wheel then was a disaster.
Yes, it was.
And then they hauled it just because we had one night to move everything in. So we were just stuffing everything in wherever it would go. And then they hauled it over to Yuma the next day. And then we spent that next weekend unpacking and organizing.
So the question gets asked, why are we making videos? First, foremost, it was to kind of show our friends and family what we're up to. And then kind of to document our journey for our kids. And we're getting old, so our memory doesn't work as well. So it'd be nice to be able to just grab our phone and say, oh yeah, that's what we did that day.
Yeah, because he says, remember when we were in whatever city? And I'm like, no. He goes, well, remember that one campground? I'm like, no, which one was that? And he seems to remember all the places and dates. And I still think it's summer right now, and it's March because we're in Florida and I'm used to Montana winters, so I don't even know what season it is. So I certainly can't remember where we were and when. So having the videos to look back on is really nice to know which state we were in when we did. I remember all the things that we've done and the people that we've met, but not necessarily what state we were in when it happened.
It's definitely fun too. Like, I enjoy making the videos. It's way out of my comfort zone sitting here in front of a camera like this talking, but I enjoy the process, and I enjoy filming, especially when we're in fun places. Like, we have a video that should be coming out soon. Yesterday we were at a cool state park and watching alligators and on an airboat ride. So it's fun documenting these fun things, especially for our children later on in life, to be able to show their kids or even their friends. So it's fun making the videos, shooting the videos, and I even enjoy the editing part. We both kind of do a little bit of it, so it's nice to split it up, and we get a couple different angles and a couple different styles. And I think eventually we'll probably start teaching the kids some of it. I think it's definitely fun for all of us. So why should you watch our channel?
Because we're awesome.
We are awesome. And we got cute babies. They might learn something.
They might learn something.
Like, they might learn how to
make kombucha.
Or how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh yeah.
You might see.
You might not learn how to make a real peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
You can watch how we installed propane fittings on our other trailer. You can watch how we put the washing machine in the RV. There's a lot you can learn by watching our channel. We're entertaining.
And we just like to have fun, and
We're authentic. It's not going to be professionally edited. So it is amateur and it's authentic.
so keep watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Thanks for subscribing. Catch you later.